Hi, guys. Welcome to Chronicles of a Female Prison Guard. On this channel, you're going to hear about all things related to the inmate population, the criminal justice system, what happens behind the scenes when inmates leave from their visiting with their loved ones, everything that goes on, and the mental capacity of the inmate population and how it differs so much from free society. It's a world within itself. All right. But without further ado, let's get into it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to hear something in particular, buy your girl a cup of coffee at the link in the description below, and we can talk about anything. Just put your request there. Okay. Without further ado, let's get into it.
This dude named Man comes to my cell. He like, yo, give me your PIN number. I said, my PIN number for what? So I get on the phone. Give me your PIN number. I said, ain't you the that didn't let me eat? He just cocked back and punched me dead in my face, yo. Boom. I'm like, oh, nose start leaking and shit. He said, give me your PIN number. I'm like, all right, man, I got you, chill. He spins off. Now I'm like, I've had it up to here, I'm done now. So this is on the phone. I come back out with everything, and he's on the phone facing the bubble, and he's off. I look at the wooden scrub brush. Look at him, look at the wooden scrub brush. I look in the day room, ain't nobody paying attention. The police is not even in the bubble. It's now or never. And I grab that wooden scrub brush, bro. I let out everything on him. I broke his jaw, I broke his nose. His eye socket was damn near hanging out. When I tell you, because he wasn't expecting it, I hit him as hard as I can with the scrub brush. And I'm talking about I held that 2 hands, like a bat. And once I hit him once, and when he went to turn around, I just kept hitting him with it. Bang, bang, bang.
Okay. So let's talk about that, because you have some terms in here that I know you're probably not familiar with. Okay. He talks about the scrub brush. He talks about the bubble. We all know what a police officer is. They call the correction officers police, popo. And in reality, we are peace officers with peace officer status. The name of the channel is just a play on what a lot of people outside of the jail system call us. They call correction officers or prison officers jail guards, because they don't understand the training that we have to go through. We have to go through the same police academy training that a regular officer has to go through. We have to qualify with guns. We have to qualify with the physical exercise. We have to learn to fight. We have to learn psychological stuff. We have to learn, surprisingly, CPR, anything concerning chemicals, biochemicals, what other kind of training? And we have some firefighting training as well. So we get a little bit of everything inside the Correction Academy. And we are, and actually you can get a couple of college credits towards it if you go through academy training, because it's considered a course and such, and you qualify to become a peace officer. So this individual, he said he's I guess a top gang member. He comes to jail. Apparently he's new in jail and nobody knows him. So the person that's probably running that cell area, a person that runs the cell area is an inmate that's been there for a long time, and the other inmates in that area respect him. Okay. He's shown that he can handle himself. Maybe he's notorious in some kind of way. He's fought a couple of people, beat him up. He has a name in the street. So when he comes into the jail system, pretty much everybody recognizes him. So this guy comes to him on the phone because he doesn't know him, and he thinks he can son him. So he thinks that he can just hit him, and, maybe he's like one of these other punks. He can take advantage of them. And that's the way the jail system is. It's a doggy dog kind of place. You think we live in a doggy dog world. You go into the inmate population, you go into the jail system, you have a mix of everybody: murderers, rapists, thieves, extortioners. You have every mix of everything in the jail system, right? So you have the worst of the worst, to be honest with you. So it's going to be a mixture of that. And you also have some people that are spiritually oppressed and possessed. Okay. So he tries to son this gangbanger, and he hits him. He asks for his PIN number. When you're in jail, You go to use the phone, you have a specific PIN number that they give you, because you're only allotted a certain amount of calls each day. And if you work in jail, you get more of a percentage. You use some of the money that you work for in jail towards credit for the phone. So this inmate had a PIN number. So the guy coming to try to get his PIN number, he goes, "Give me your PIN number." Maybe he ran out of calls. He didn't have any more calls. So he decides he's going to test this dude and punch him in the face. Well, the guy took the loss. Then he said, okay, he gave it to him. He went back in his cell. And I guess he went into the broom room. We used to call it the stay closet. The stay closet is the area that has all of the supplies for cleaning: brooms, mops, all kinds of handles, anything that you need to clean with. But we don't have anything, we don't usually hold anything that's sharp or that's injurious in there. But for the most part, the stay closet stays locked until it's time for the housekeepers, the guys that are designated to clean the cell area, decide that they're going to clean. And the officer is supposed to open up the stay closet, allow them to get the things out that they need, and then lock the stay closet back. Apparently, somebody wasn't doing their job, because this inmate, the gangbanger, was able to go in and get the wooden stick from the closet. So he regroups. He comes out with this wooden scrub and beats the heck out of this other inmate. What did that teach him? Leave me alone. I'm not the one. And when he talks about the bubble is the station inside of a cell area where the officer sits. Now, usually, and it depends on the jail system. I worked in Rikers Island, and I worked in some of the bureau facilities in New York City. So the bubble in most of the housing areas was separate from the floor itself. Now, you had an officer in the bubble area, and you had an officer inside the housing area. Now, I don't know where this inmate was actually located, what prison system he was in, if an officer was actually not on the floor, didn't have to be on the floor, or if the officer that was supposed to be on the floor decided that he would go into the bubble, into the main stay room with the other officer just to chat, because you think officers do an 8-hour tour. And for the most part, you're just sitting there watching the inmates, and the inmates are watching you. They're watching your every move, right? So if the officer was supposed to be on post and was supposed to be in a housing area, again, he wasn't on his job. He didn't do his job. Either way, somebody was not paying attention. So this inmate was able to get this scrub brush, beat the heck out of this dude, and go about his business. But that's what that world is like. All right. Anytime someone new comes into the institution and the rest of the guys don't know him, he doesn't have a reputation, you're going to have somebody that tries to test you. So he kind of got what he wanted. He thought he had a son, he thought he had a victim, and he found out the truth. He did not. And he wound up paying for it by getting his butt kicked. But that's the jail system. So let me know what you think. You have any questions about that? Do you think that, maybe the gangbanger was wrong? He should have just let him have his PIN number and just taken that loss. Do you think that the officer should have been more aware of what was going on? Let me know in the comments what you think, all right? And make sure you like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to share some more stories with you. Bye-bye.